Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Sirey from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content I will be providing for you guys will be in the sport of football and the XFL world. And today, in this bonus content video, I'll be sharing my thoughts on the 2023 XFL season. So big year for the XFL. I'm a big fan of the XFL. They had a great first year back since the relaunch of the XFL. I thought they hit it out of the park this year. It was a great, tremendous XFL season. Kudos to the XFL commission for putting together one special year of the XFL this XFL season. So last night we actually saw the first XFL champion crowned since 2001. The first year actually of the XFL. That was the last time we saw XFL champion. Last night we saw the Arlington Renegades, who actually defined the odds. They were a 4-6 team. They went all the way. They got a shot to be in the playoffs. They overcame the odds in the playoffs and went on to knock off the DC Defenders, who were the best regular season team in the XFL season. They won that game last night, 35-26, to crown themselves as this year's XFL champions. So kudos to the Arlington Renegades for defining the odds as a true underdog and winning the XFL championship this year. But what I have to say about the XFL, I have a lot of great things to say. Like I just said, I thought they did a great year for the first year back since the relaunch. I actually went to a Defenders game, the conference championship game where they faced off against the Seattle Sea Dragons. That was a great game, a great atmosphere in DC. I was surprised to see how many fans were supportive of the DC Defenders. I think they're more loyal to the Defenders than they are than the Washington Commanders. Because let's be honest, at least a DC team is representing them well in the sport of football, unlike the Commanders. But hey, I love the atmosphere when I was in DC for that game. My co-host Rob Sarasulo and our guy Jake Delanoche could tell you how much fun we had at that game, and there were some hostile fans, some hostile Sea Dragon fans at that game. But the atmosphere was tremendous. It really had the feeling of an NFL game. If you want my honest opinion, it was electric from start to finish. Great atmosphere. I have no bad things to say on my experience of going to my first XFL game. First of many for me. But I was a big fan of the XFL rules this year. Big fan of the rules, I should say. Getting tongue tied as I talk here. But the kickoff, I was a big fan of the kickoff. You cannot of how the kickoff rule would go. The play can't be live until the receiver or the returner catches the ball. And once he catches the ball, and that's when the play is live. I think that's pretty cool that the play can't start until he touches the ball. I also love the 2-point conversions, the 3-point conversions, instead of settling for extra point field goals. I thought that was really creative for the XFL to do. And the biggest rule that I liked the most was the 4th and 15 rule. Instead of going, if it's late in a close game, instead of attempting an onside kick if the team is trailing, they get the ball back for one attempt for a 4th and 15 conversion. If they convert a 4th and 15, they get the possession of the ball. I like that instead of doing the onside kick. So I thought the XFL being creative, thinking outside the box with their own rules was very creative during the XFL season, was something different, a breath of fresh air in terms of football when you talk about different rules. But the XFL was so great, and it came at the right time, especially for diehard football fans out there like me. A lot of you guys out there watching and listening might feel the same way if you love football. To me, there's no better sport than the sport of football. Yeah, it overtakes everything that I love to watch. Basketball, baseball, any combat sport, UFC, boxing, you name it. There's nothing better than the game of football to me. But the XFL came at the right moment because I was dreading the fact that I would not have football to watch for months, all the way up until the end of the summer. But the XFL did a great job of really taking care of my hunger for the game of football. It came at the right time. It came a week after the Super Bowl, coming off a red-hot, spectacular NFL season. The XFL was right there for diehard football fans to take care of you, and we got to watch a good season from them. So what I have to tip my cap off to the XFL. The XFL looked really doomed, especially during the pandemic in 2020. After Vince McMahon, the legend, the icon, the mastermind behind WWE, all the success that they've had going against WCW and the Monday Night Wars. Vince McMahon knows what he's talking about. He's a great businessman in the world of wrestling, and he's a great businessman because he's a millionaire. And Vince McMahon tried to bring back one of his other creations, which was the XFL. The XFL only ran for one season, like I just said, in 2001, where the only XFL champion was crowned, besides last night. But Vince McMahon tried to bring back his creation in 2020. But the league lost millions due to the pandemic. The league had to file for bankruptcy, and we didn't know if we were going to get the XFL again after the 2020 season. But The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, someone who got his feet wet in the world of wrestling, was one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Definitely an icon. He is a smart businessman, a man that busts his rear end in the gym. He could do it all. He's a great movie star, box office attraction as well. The Rock wanted to get his hands dirty and wanted to run the XFL. He bought it off of his work colleague Vince McMahon, and he's done a great job putting together and producing the XFL. They've gotten a lot of love. They've gotten a lot of attention by big networks like ESPN. They have really shown Fox Sports as well. But a lot of those companies have done a great job displaying and advertising the XFL. The Rock deserves a lot of credit for that, and kudos to him for putting together a spectacular XFL 2023 season. So my thoughts on that. What should the league do next year? What should the XFL do next year? One of the things I do believe that they can capitalize on after a great season, I do believe the league should expand. Right now we're looking at only 8 teams in the XFL, which is great, especially for a relaunch coming back. But I think they need to capitalize on this opportunity now. And I think next year, this is a great time to add at least 4, maybe 6 teams into the league next year. Having some new fresh faces, new fresh teams in both conferences. I think that'd be great for the sport of football and the XFL. One of the other things I had suggested, like I said, an expansion would be great. But maybe expanding and collaborating with the USFL. Right now, their season's going on, but they're not getting the love and the attention that the XFL was getting. And I think it would make sense because just like the XFL, the USFL also only have 8 teams in their league. Why not collaborate, join together, have a total of 16 teams, and be one big, gigantic football world in the XFL, whatever the name would be. I think the XFL should buy them out if they can. But this would be great if the XFL and USFL could join together. We have a total of 16 teams. Bring even more love and attention to football after the NFL season is done. I think this would be a great idea. But my last suggestion is, I believe that the city of Baltimore should get an XFL team. Why is that? Because the state of Texas right now, like I just said, there's only 8 teams in the XFL, but the state of Texas has half of the teams. They have 4 teams of their own right now in the state of Texas. Yes, I understand Texas is a great sport for football. They do it big at any level. Pee-wee, Pop Warner, high school, college, obviously NFL for having America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. But share the load, guys. Share the load, state of Texas. You guys have 4 teams right now. They currently have the reigning defending XFL champions and the Arlington Renegades. They have the Houston Roughnecks. They have the San Antonio Brahmas. We need some love here. We definitely need some love here. Bring them on. I think that the success that the XFL had with the DC Defenders, like I just said, they were the best regular season team. The atmosphere, like I said, was spectacular. Really, really fun experience to go to an XFL Defenders game. The success that they just had in the DMV with the XFL team, it would only make sense to give Baltimore, Maryland, a XFL team as well. Another team that could also use a relocation is the Las Vegas Vipers. Yes, they're in Las Vegas, Nevada. Why would you relocate from there? But they also had some issues going on during the season playing in Las Vegas, and they could be looking for a potential new home for the 2024 XFL season. Why not relocate the Las Vegas Vipers to Baltimore to become the Baltimore Vipers? I think that'd be a great idea. But hey, share the load. If there's expansion going on, bring a team to Baltimore. The Las Vegas Vipers want to relocate, bring them to Baltimore. Texas can definitely give Baltimore one of the teams that they have right now in Texas. They got a lot of them. Give us one of them. But those are my thoughts on the XFL season. I thought they did a really spectacular job this year. I'm looking forward to the future of the league as we speak. And yes, before anybody says that the XFL season, this might be a one and done, The Rock has already came out and said that there will be a 2024 season for the XFL. So those are my thoughts on the season. That is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Tom Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.